Hello, we are live. Thank you for joining me. Thank you guys for supporting us. We appreciate everybody that logs on today and that's logged on in the last couple of days as we've gone live and shared some tips and tricks and shared some things that are near and dear to my heart. So I want to thank you guys again. I am Sammy Tatro and I'm coming to you live from Louisiana. Give me a shout out or drop me a 5 in the chat down below, or leave me a comment that says you're from the down south or you're from Louisiana or been to Louisiana, something. Let me know. We have not always been in Louisiana. So anyway, today we're going to dive into a topic that is pretty close to my heart. It can be difficult to talk about. It's something that a lot of people talk about in generic terms. You guys can hear my kids down there feeding the animals. They're all making the animal calls. So it's very distracting. Sorry about that, guys. So anyway, this topic is near and dear, and it's talked about in very generic terms, and it can be tough as we dive into it. So it's mental health, and people people scratch their nose. Mental health can be icky and sticky and feelings and things like that, but it's definitely something important to talk about. So Tristan, sorry guys. All right, so join me today as we talk about something, like I said, the transformative power of some biblical principles to help foster a healthier mind. And it's all revolving around mental health. So my brain is a little bit derailed, but you won't want to miss what we have in store today. So before we get too far into some of the invaluable tips that I'm bringing you to today, I want to share a little bit of a personal story to kind of segue into the tips, especially tip number 1. So several years ago, I found myself grappling with fear and helplessness and definitely bubbling anxiety in the moment. And I talk with my hands. So let me set the stage for you. So my mom and I went on a car road trip, a trip to take the wave runners out. We had a couple of wave runners and we just took a girls trip. And I think we were at Navajo Reservoir. And we went out, we had a great day. I remember we were in the Suburban and we had the 2-place trailer behind us. And we just had pulled straight out onto, to me, I remember it being like a little knoll. And so we'd gone through a little narrow driveway thing, and then we were out on this knoll, and it was perfect because we were able to pull right up. We were able to have lunch and just kind of hang out, enjoy around for the day. And for the day, it was perfect. And it was early afternoon, and if you're familiar with the storms out that area, the storms roll in mid to early afternoon. So there was a storm rolling in and the rain was coming in. So we knew that we needed to get loaded up and kind of get out of there, get off this knoll that we were on. Well, we weren't fast enough. The rain was coming in and it was coming down. And so we were, like I said, we were in a big heavy Suburban, and it wasn't a space to turn around. Like we had to back off this little knoll to get back out of here. And as the rain started to come down, there are these big round river rocks. And if you're familiar with these round river rocks, when they get wet, they get slick. So the more it rained, the slicker it got. And it was just the two of us. I was, I don't know, probably a teen, preteen, early teen, maybe even preteen. And so we're trying to push, we're trying to back up, we're trying to get off here. And as the rain's coming down, as the rocks are getting slipperier, as we're not making any headway at getting off this knoll, I'm starting to stress out. I'm starting to get really worried, and the anxiety is bubbling. And what do we do? And I had recently kind of delved into getting deeper in my faith. And I believe I was the one that suggested that we just kind of stop and pray for a moment. I had seen God really move on a mission trip when we just stopped everything, sat in the quiet, and we prayed. And so we did that. We just stopped for a moment and we said, God, help us. Meet us where we are. We need some help. And so that's what we did. And it was like something out of a movie. My memory, that probably is a little hazy or whatever you want to call it, but we were down in this valley, in this grassy knoll, or on this knoll in the water. And up on the ravine, it was like the parking lot was up above, and we're looking up, and this ridge line, right after we got done praying, these teenagers, these big kids, I mean, there was 8 or 12 kids that come walking over this ridge line to come meet us. And I mean, that's not what their intent was, obviously, but they came down to meet us, and we ended up asking them for help, and they were able to push us backwards off this knoll. I hope you guys can hear me okay. There's a lot of chaos going on in this house today. So apologize for the chaos, but thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you guys for hanging out with us. So they were able to meet us and push us down off this knoll and basically save us from being stuck. So that was just an incredible moment of faith. You guys can see the creep behind me, creeping in the camera there. But that was just an incredible moment of faith. And it is a moment when God really showed up in my life. And so for that moment, brings us to tip number 1. And I just remember that moment, the moment that I was able to stop and I was able to pray and be in, this can bring us a couple of our tips actually, but be able to be in the moment with God and be able to lean in and really see God show up in a big way. Definitely. So that brings me to tip number 1. And tip number 1 is casting your cares. And our first tip draws a little bit of inspiration from our story that we just shared, but also from 1 Peter 5:7. And that verse says, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." So recognize that we don't have to carry all of our burdens alone. We need to take time daily to cast our cares upon God through prayer. Surrendering our worries to him can be such a powerful antidote for anxiety, for paving the way for mental peace. You're also opening up your brain space to shift your mental focus from what is dragging us down. And it also helps us to focus on truly what matters. And that might be the people around you that require your attention, that rely on you, that need you. Maybe it's your children. And it shifts from the lies that we tell ourselves. We might be telling ourselves that nobody's out here, nobody cares for me, nobody will help me. There's a multitude of lies that we tell ourselves, especially when we're in that clouded mental space. So just cast your fears and anxieties on the Lord, and He is big enough to hold those burdens for you. And cast your cares on Jesus. And if you don't know how to do that, just send me a message. It's really that easy. Casting your cares on Jesus is the easy part. It's leaving there that's really hard. So send me a message if you need some help, if you need some prayer. I would love to step out on that journey with you guys. Sticky feelings aren't something that scare me. So tip number 2, bring us to tip number 2, building on Romans 12:2 and our last tip. Our second tip emphasizes the renewal of the mind. And Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." So engage in positive affirmations. And this was something really hard for me. For me, positive affirmations used to mean things that weren't true. I would have to tell myself I'm a millionaire, and I am not a millionaire, you guys. I'm not a millionaire. But I would, that's what positive affirmations meant. It meant saying things that were false until I believed them, until they came true. But that's not what positive affirmations are. So engage in positive affirmations, telling yourself things that are true, things that are biblically truthful, and then meditate on uplifting scriptures as well. And a Google search can help pull those to you. If there's something, if you're really struggling, even a Google search can help bring something to help you turn your mental shift around. So, and then another part, it's like a 3-part tip to this one. Surround yourself with positive influences. And that can be difficult too, especially if you can't see it, especially if you can't step out and see there. So find somebody that you feel you can follow that uplifts you, and lean into that person for the moment, the day, the hour, whatever you need. Transforming your thought patterns can definitely have a profound impact on our mental well-being. And we're gonna, this is heavy. This is again a heavy topic. It's not something that's covered in a moment or in a 10-minute live video, but sometimes just a reminder is helpful. All right, so that brings us to tip number 3. And we're gonna keep this kind of short today, but tip number 3 is community connection. We are hardwired for connection. We kind of briefly touched on that the other day. So let's explore the importance of community as inspired by Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 in the Bible. And it says, 2 are better than 1, for if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. And we know that, it's not fun to be alone. We know that there is, we're just hardwired for connection. There's no better way to say it than that. So don't underestimate the strength found in a community. Connect with like-minded individuals, share your struggles, and offer support to others. If you don't need the group probably needs you anyways. So definitely show up and be present. Somebody is needing your connection or you need that connection. So we're designed for that community, and fostering meaningful connections can significantly improve our mental health. And, we're in a world where we are segregated more than ever. We're in our single family homes. Our homes are fenced with privacy fences. Our home is not in a neighborhood. We're on the front side of a neighborhood, but we're not in the neighborhood. So we are very secluded out here. So we are needing that connection more than ever. In this time of social media, we're seeking connections, and those are not true connections. So DM me, send me a message. I am truly looking for all the connections. I love to have those deeper connections. I love to keep those connections with people from my past. And so if you get a random message from me, I'm probably reaching out and I wasn't hacked. So definitely message me back. But we are going to dive a little bit deeper into this last tip on community connections next Wednesday. So stay tuned. I've been reading Jeannie Allen's book, Find Your People. It's building deep community in a lonely world. So some of what I've said is out of this book. And so far, I haven't got very far, but it's definitely a recommend so far. So thank you so much for watching and connecting with me. It means the world that you guys have been here supporting me. And we have a special gift. So if you guys want these tips in a shareable, downloadable PDF, it's free. I've compiled them into this guide, and just send me a message and we can get those over to you. The royal we, I guess me and the mouse in my pocket. It's just me. It's a team of me. So, I guess I take that back. My husband's downstairs watching my three hooligans, my kids. So that's definitely part of my team as well. But anyway, drop me a comment. Let's embark on this journey of faith and mindful mental well-being together. And remember that you are not alone. Thank you guys again so much for all your support, for your comments, for the love that you send in the messenger. And we will see you guys again soon. So thank you all and have a great day. Bye.